Okay, I'll be going as slow as I can. 1 hour. So anything, please put into the chat windows. Okay, so prior to start, I think it's still formally I have to thanks for having me. Thanks aMS for having me for many years, and yeah, so I will yeah, all the sponsor. I think just now I think our friend already mentioned that you can win this. Okay, you can scan this. You can listen it very carefully when I'm going through my slides. I will actually give you the answer, right? So you listen very carefully. You play this, then you will actually get it. Okay. Right, so you get the correct answer, you get this. Okay, so okay, okay, I will be talking about what every developer should know about Power Automate, right? The big terms that okay. So what is your takeaway today, right? So your takeaway today will be what is actually Power Automate? It's not Power Apps, so don't confuse that. I realize that the Power Apps has a lot of similar items inside Power Apps and Power Automate, but here is solely Power Automate. Okay, it's not the Power Apps. So I will talk about the connectors, right? And then the connectors, what big deals. I have hundreds and thousands of connectors. What is that, right? So I will talk about the flows. What are those flows, right? How do you start? You go into when you go into Power Automate, you will have a lot of flows. Then you get confused. Most of people get confused. Which flow should I use, right? And the last thing that I will talk about is what you will face when, as a beginner, most of the time, if you are a beginner, or what you will face even you are not the beginner. And the demo that I will have is that I actually built the simple application. I actually built a simple application. Okay. Okay, so what is the simple application using Visual Studio, the latest 2022? If you are interested in that, you can actually see how I built that. Then I will actually use the robotics process automate to actually automatically click those things that I built. Okay, confirm that cannot be found in the YouTube. Right? Okay, what I will not cover, right? I don't want you to sit through the whole session and saying, hey, I don't see the expression. I will not cover this in very detailed expression in the Power Automate, right? Of course, you can learn it somewhere else. If you need, then you can approach me, but I will not specifically cover in this session, okay? In this session, okay. I think Power Automate is a tool, right? So you know that I cannot see the hand. Can I see the hand? If I can see the hand somewhere, let me see if I can see your hand on. Let me be more interactive. Anyone before this using Flow, Microsoft Flow? Before? No hands. Okay. So Microsoft Flow. Before this is actually a Microsoft Flow. So it will actually let your Office 365, right? The component that Office 365 work together. right? It works together, meaning that your Microsoft Word can actually take some data, going to Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint, and beyond that. Beyond that, meaning that you can actually pump the data into Salesforce if you like to. I will show you a demo in Dropbox as well. Right? If you want to have a SharePoint, OneDrive content to go into Dropbox, or SharePoint content go into Dropbox, or Google Drive. Right? I'll actually show you that part. Right? Well, yeah, but yeah, just you might have a lot of questions that to ask me later. But I don't think 1 hour I can answer you. You need to approach me somewhere later on. Right? Don't worry about charges. There's no charge. Okay. So what does a Power Automate do? Right? I think this is. I'm not going to read from the slides. Right? So it will actually help you to handle your day-to-day life easy, right? For you to automate. I'll show you a part that which is very critical later on. Is actually how you use RPA, right? Your robotics process automation, to actually automate your desktop stuff, right? Of course, you can handle your desktop stuff. I will also tell you how do you handle your desktop application and put that into the cloud. Okay, I'll guide you through how to do that, but stay put. Okay, so that's right. So that it will automate every day without another human, right? So hopefully those guys don't have me like operator, they don't have me. So the operator will need to actually learn they have to learn how to build this thing, then they go and click the thing, right? That's the future, right? So you have no choice, right? Okay. Let me talk about connectors, right? So a big term like connectors, what are those connectors? The connectors basically is a piece of the, when you get started with your flow, you need to connect to something like SharePoint, right? This guy. Excel, somewhere, Excel, this guy, and so on. So this is only part of it. I will show you the rest of it later on, right? Live, okay? I will have a demo and show you all this. Where do you get this, right? So people talk about connectors. Where do I find the connectors? Is actually, what are those connectors, right? Right. So I'm not having I will tell you where to actually get started and where to find this thing. Okay. Now, let me go to the flows first. Right? I will go to the first flow and then we go to the desktop. Before I talk about the developer problem, right, and so on. Now, the use case, right? So every flow of this, I will give you the use case. Why do you need them? Why do you need them, right? So the first one is the automated flow, right? So if you go in, I will actually later on show you live, right, where to actually go here as well. And how do you get started on this stuff? When you say automatic, right, automatic meaning that there must be a trigger, right? This is a key. Every flows, every Power Automate flow, right? You must have a trigger. This is the keyword, trigger, right? How you want to start the flow, right? Okay, so automated meaning that you will have, I give you a scenario, right? When you receive an email, okay, the Power Automate detected you have an email received, then the flow will trigger. When you put a file in SharePoint document library, right? The document library, once you put the file in, just once you created a new file or put the file in or post the file in, whichever way you call it, then the flow will be kicked off, right? Those are the scenario. So this is automatic in the sense, okay? So in automatic, see, that is what I mean. When you want to create an automated flow, right? You see here, the trigger here will be different. It will be different from the rest of the Power Automate method, right? So this flow here will not be the same if you go into the instant cloud flow, or you go into the the schedule cloud flow, right? The schedule flow, right? So all this flow, when you start the page, right, they have some trigger for you here, and you will actually see the triggers here. They are not the same, right? So you pay attention to this. Of course, I'll give you live. Right? Don't be too worried that I don't want to see. I know there are people that say I don't want to see slides. I want to see the real thing. I will bring you the real thing, right? Because you have to bear with me for a while. Okay, so you can see that also when a new response, right? When a new items created in SharePoint, right, and so on. So I can scroll down. Actually, you can scroll down there and see a lot of things here. When a file created in OneDrive, SharePoint, and you go down, then it will not be Microsoft. Of course, Microsoft will put their own item on top, right? So they will put their own item on top. So that is those things. SharePoint, when you create a file in SharePoint, so okay, so that is one of the sample that give us static screen. I will go to the dynamic screen. This static screen. Okay, so that is automated cloud flow, right? So any question you can actually post it into. I can't see. I only have one screen, so I can't see whether you have any question. I think the moderator will help me. You have any question, just put into the chat.
There are two that's raising the hand. Maybe Aro, you want to take? Okay. I think Aro, are you raising your hand? Okay, I think they don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
Go back to you.
Go ahead. No. It's okay. It's okay. You can ask later, right? So let me just okay. Maybe I think I will turn off the camera for a while. So later I will turn it on again. So save some bandwidth later on. Okay. So let me continue, right? So okay, so instant flows, right? Instant flow is something that you can actually start the flow, right? By using a button, right? What do I mean by using a button, right? So yeah, you create this flow later on. You can actually put it in the mobile, in your Power Apps. You can actually put this flow into a Power App as a button for you to click, right? Or when you go to a SharePoint, website, okay? When you go to a SharePoint website, then you can actually have a location to click this trigger. I will show you as well, right? Where do you actually click this trigger? Okay, so that is the answer. So you want this trigger to be manually clicked. Okay, it's not automatic, so it has to be a human click. Then after you click, then a series of action will be actually taken, right? So that is actually the instant flow. So when you instant flow, you can see you realize that here is already different, right? See, as I mentioned, you can have Power Apps, right? So you can have a Power Apps to actually trigger, right? So, and also you can have a Teams, right? Microsoft Teams to trigger that. You can actually put that button as in the Power BI, right? And so on. So that is the instant flow. Okay. Okay. The third one, right? The third one will be the scheduled flow. But the schedule flow, I think, is pretty straightforward, right? You must, as the name indicated, right? You need to actually put the time and date, when this thing you want it to be triggered, right? It will actually, let's say every morning 7 a.m., right? Before I reach the office, I want this guy to actually trigger a flow for me, to housekeep all my file, to put all my file in the respective drive, right? I give a scenario, right? I have few locations that my team member will actually put the file, deposit the file. I give them a different SharePoint location, SharePoint, or Dropbox, up to you, right? So then later on, when every morning I go back to the office, I need to consolidate them into one location, right? Into one location, and what I need to do then, I need to spend time around at least 20 minutes to go in a different place. Right? Then some guy actually come into my desk and maybe invite me for some food, for example, right? Something to eat. Then I forget. Then I will go there and go to eat and come back and continue, right? So those are all the times that you will be taking, right? So what you can do is that you automate this thing, right? So you know that you will reach the office at 9 a.m., right? So you can just schedule the task to run at 7 a.m., right? So the moment you reach your office, you sit down, all the file is in one folder for you. So you don't really have to go to, or for your manager or for your director, then they don't really have to consolidate the files from different teams and so on. So that's why it's actually quite a useful thing, right? Of course, I have to actually remind you that you need to have Office 365. That's the only thing you need to have. I'm not a salesman from Microsoft, but you need to have that, okay? So, okay, as I mentioned to you, right, when you want to start schedule flow, you won't see anything at the bottom here, but you will see date, time, and also you want to repeat, right, every 1 minute, 1 day, and so on, okay? So that will be the schedule flow, right? Schedule cloud flow. Now, before I go to business process flow, so let me see, no more hand, right? Okay, no more hand. Okay, no more hand here. Okay. Okay, this one is commonly we don't use, right? Normal people don't use. Okay. Business process flow, it go by stages. Okay. Is something like you have a process like Salesforce process, Microsoft Dynamic process that from one flow you complete, then you actually go to start another flow, okay? So it's called business processes. If you finish one flow, you go to another flow, right? Why this is not so common? It's actually meant for, if you go down to this flow, you will know that it's actually meant for Dynamic 365, okay? And business process flow, definitely you will have a lot of these Power Apps combination, okay? Power Automate and Power Apps can actually work together, right? That is the advanced thing that I'm not going to, right? You can actually approach me, but I will not demo it here. So it's a complicated thing, and okay, let me put an and. If you are the normal Office user, like Business Premium and also E3 user, that is pretty high already. You are not able to use this. You need to pay extra. I think you need E5, right? So as I mentioned, I'm not the licensing guy from Microsoft. So you need an E5, right, to get it, or you need to pay the Power Automate additional license to get this thing done, right? So that's this is the most complicated one, okay? So you can see, that's why I said See, you actually deal with your data set, data file, and so on, right? And Microsoft Data Max. Okay, so this one is, when you started the screen, it will be something like this. You have to choose a table, right? A data set, AI build table whatsoever. Is a pretty much different thing that the normal people will not use it unless you have your Salesforce and Dynamic and also SAP in place. Then you will look at this guy. Okay, now is the demo time, right? I want to demo an instant flow for you, right? So let me go to my demo screen. Hopefully it doesn't have a problem. Okay, so tell me you can still see my screen, right? Okay, I think you can, right? You cannot see my screen, then let me see. Okay, so this guy is, yeah, you see this window slightly different. This guy is called, I cannot have a top block, right? Okay, anyway. So when the moment you sign in Office 365, that's right. I don't want to sign in, waste the time to sign in for you. If you know that I'm a heavy user, right? I'm working with Office 365, right? Where do you get to the Power Automate? Where do you go there, right? So you actually go to the OX, right? And you find Power Automate. Okay, you click this guy, then, so they will actually explain it to you, right? So okay, it comes, right? So you can actually say create, do you want to? Then you can actually say the flow. Okay, this is the live thing. Okay, I will show you what are those things that I actually, most of the thing, you can see the blur thing here, right? Those are the obsolete things that I tested back then using Microsoft Flow, right? So you actually keep your Microsoft Flow if you are previously using Microsoft Flow many years back. Microsoft Flow exists since 4 years back, if I'm not mistaken, right? So for Power Automate, actually it's not so new. If you are, they just improve the functionality and also the features, right, in Power Automate. If the previous guy, right, like you have been using Office 365 for the past 10 years and you are kind of developer, then you know previously it's called Microsoft Flow, right? Okay, now how do you create those things, right? When you click create, okay, of course you can click new flow here as well. See, you can click new flow here, or you can click create as well, right? So you can see the flow that I was telling you, right? Where do you find? Okay, so you can say automated cloud flow, right? Instant cloud flow. They put a cloud in the middle. The new one, they put a cloud in the middle. The previous one, there's no cloud in the middle. So now, why they put a cloud here in the middle is because this guy is not cloud. It's on premise. Okay, I will cover this one later. Let me show you one by one that what I was talking about just now. Okay, so if I click the automated cloud flow, right, you will see, this is a screen that I actually captured for you. If you scroll down there, you see when even you have a Gmail arrive, this guy will trigger for you. Right? It will actually detect your Gmail. Of course, if you want to click this one, right, then you will need to key in your credential, right? The first thing they will ask you to key in the credential. For example, right, you need to sign in. So yeah, so something like that is an agreement that, okay, let me just don't want to send this one, right? And if I go back to here, right, then I will go click the instant flow, right? Instant flow, right? Instant flow is manually created, manually flow. Okay. So you will see a different kind of the trigger to start. Okay, you can have a power BI buttons, right? You can have the for each item selected, right, and so on. How do you actually start this? Okay, let me show you. Let me show you. Let me be a bit jumpy and then show you. Okay, if you see, I have a flow created for the demo, right? You can see I have a lot of all these. These are actually the instant flow, right? So remember I said you must know where to trigger if you instant flow like all this. What? Let me just open this guy, one of this guy. I want to copy file, right? So I want to copy file as I mentioned to you. This one I pre-created, right? So I want to edit this guy. Okay, this is very simple, right? So it's from a SharePoint to another SharePoint. That's what I'm telling you, right? Okay, so you click this guy to expand, you will know that, okay, here is the, if I create a file here, right, then you will actually go and copy the file, right, in this folder. You will actually go and copy the file into the pre-approved folder here, right? And I'm going to, when I create a file there, I will have another file here, right? Now, you look, it's very, when you look at it, it's actually very straightforward. Of course, when you start this, you need to know, when you click this, you must have a SharePoint drive, the document I've recreated, okay? Only you can do this, right? So, this one is actually the, when I created the file. Okay, so I have to create the file, okay. When the file is created, this one is actually the automated flow, right? So anyway, let me see whether I have.
There is a question, maybe.
Yes.
There is someone.
Let me just. I cannot minimize this guy because I share this. Hold on. Let me play some trick. Hopefully I can play some trick. Hey. I cannot switch back. Let me stop presenting first, maybe. I will. Let me stop presenting first. Maybe hold on. Let me see if I can. I cannot. Let me show you, because here cover, this is a VM. You can see this bar is covered that my bar. Okay, hold on. Let me just stop presenting first. Okay. I have a bar here right now. Okay, let me reshare my screen. Okay, now I can. Yes, question.
Okay, questions? Arasi?
We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you.
Okay, maybe just type in the chat window in that case. All right.
Yeah. You can actually type it here if you want to. Okay. You can actually type it here if you want to, right? So, yeah. What if there is, okay, there's a two-factor authentication. Good one. Good one, right? A two-factor authentication. Okay, so let me explain to the audience what are your questions. Okay, so okay, meaning that if I have to key in the password, at first I have to key in my password, right? There's some guys. Okay, well, so there are another question. Okay, let me answer the first one first. Okay, so if the two-factor, meaning that if I key in my password, I might have a fingerprint, right? Or I might need to have have a mobile, right? You send a code to my mobile and actually verify my code. Okay. Unfortunately, right, I will say unfortunately, if you want to automate that part, right? You have to disable that for that user, right? That account. Because you can use different account, right? For that account, you likely need to. Of course, you can use you have to create another account to do that, right? In Office 365, I believe you know that you can create another account. You need to have that account that without the two factors, right? So then you can, or else you will have trouble to automate, right? So okay. So if user running Power Apps app to trigger the flow, okay, to delete the file in SharePoint, okay, whether the auto flow trigger by first come first serve. Yes. Who press the button first? Yes, you're right. Yes, it will first come first serve basis. Yes. Okay. Okay. So I think that there are the two questions, right?
Yeah, that's one two questions.
Okay. Right. So let me go back to a little bit of the demo. I think this time I have the bar here. Yeah. So I can actually minimize. Just not the bar to the middle is actually covered by this. Okay, you won't be able to see my presenter bar. Right? Actually, there's a presenter bar that's blocking this bar that I cannot minimize. Okay, now anyway. Okay, so when you click, where am I? I think the tab. Okay, let me go back to here. Okay. No. See this VM thing. Okay, this guy. Okay, now. Okay, so where to trigger the flow in SharePoint, right? So let me click the SharePoint here. I should have a SharePoint here, right? Now I can go and I can make it bigger again, right? Okay, so I have a SharePoint here, right? So I need to go into my SharePoint. All right, if you have a manual flow, right? Manual flow, where is it going to be? Okay, so if I click the proof of concept, okay, just now you remember I have a document here, right? And okay, so another trick that later I'm telling you. So where to actually, let's say I go to here, right? I click here, pre-approve. I just play around with this. I have something here. So I click this guy. Okay. Then I click the three dot here, right? You can see an auto power mate. See, I have some action here that actually I can see that this is a guy. This is a guy that I can actually trigger to copy the file, for example, right? So I can actually click that to run. I think I can just click that to run. Then you actually run the flow. Okay, the flow will start running. Yeah. So where is this thing happening, right? Okay. Wow. So I just say run the flow. Right. This is how you manually trigger. See, you actually trigger. See, you actually run, and you say done. Right. This guy is supposed to be in the approved folder. Right? I think I put in the approved folder. Right. So I created a lot of this guy, right? I created quite a bit of fields to prepare for you guys today, right? Yeah. See, you have. So I'm going to copy the file to. Oh, I'm going to copy the file to this location, right? So you can go and see whether the file has been in this location. The Asia Camp 2021. Some of you might know what is that. Okay, so I go down to here, and then I go over to corner. I go back to the Internet Business, right? So I go back to here. I'm supposed to see a file. Hello me. Yeah, see, it's just created, right? So that is how you can trigger a flow manually in SharePoint. Okay, so you create it here, right? So if you want to know how to do this in detail and you forget, you want to refer back to here, right? You can actually go to my blog, right? I actually have blog in. Okay, I give you, I think at the beginning I share my blog address. I give you again, right? Because you say, okay, after you left, I don't know where to find this, because this is not so, this is important, right? But you can't remember this. I can tell you that if I show you here and teach you step by step here to create this, I'm just wasting waste of time. After this session, if you don't refer, you wouldn't be able to remember, right? So I actually created something for you to remember, right? So if you could go to this here, you find Power Automate, my blog, then you can have the step back, the step that I'm actually creating this, okay? Creating this guy, right? You can actually find here that, you know, I have some guy that here, I believe is one of the guy here, right? Right. So I copy the path for you guys, right? So that is my, okay, I copy the path for you guys. Yeah. So yeah. So they are more in the blog, okay? And the blog that I don't actually have advertisement and earn money, so you don't have to worry. So you can see it's just a normal blog that I don't earn any money from there. Yeah, it's just sharing knowledge and so on. Okay, so that will be the instant flow that I want to demo to you. Hopefully, if you have any question, then I see somebody's having question. Right. So let me just, okay. Whether auto flow currently allow us to create a trigger and copy the SharePoint record. Okay, good question. Good question. You cannot, because there's no Agile SQL database table connector there. Okay, let me show you. Good question. Good question. Okay, let me show you. Right? I was also trying to do this demo for you, and I go and try myself and see whether. Let me just leave this guy. I just go and try and see whether I can actually find. Okay, where's the connector? The whole connector are here, right? So I also actually doing the same thing, right? I also a SQL fan, right? So unfortunately, you can, right? Sorry to say this, I think you can. Okay, so yesterday when I clicked, I don't know, maybe when I was too tired 2 days ago, right? It's okay, but it's premium, Okay, it's premium. Okay, premium, You see the word premium here, meaning that you need to pay extra. You need to pay, right? So your normal one you can't. Maybe I don't know why okay, where I created, I don't see the Asia is that I actually do this. I create the flow, right? I create an instant flow or automate flow, right? And I just click create, I put a name and say Agile SQL, just a fake one. Later on, delete it, never mind. I just play with you guys, right? And I skip this guy, right? And what I did, I was put Agile SQL here. I think I couldn't find, right? So yeah, you can see you cannot find Agile SQL here, right? Because I didn't pay that extra, I believe, right? So you need the Agile SQL to correct my answer. You can actually, right? So, but you need to actually pay additional, right? So that is the answer. Okay. Hopefully I can answer. So you can see it's premium. That's why when I create a flow, I want to go into SQL Asia and purposely play something with you guys, for you guys to see, and it is not there. It's not there. Okay. Right. So let me go back to the slides. Okay. Okay. Okay, I go down to the big topic right now. Wow, everybody talk about robotics process automation. What are they? What is that? Okay, RPA, a very famous topic. Okay, RPA is actually something very useful, right? And not everybody, the solution is in cloud. today, right? Because you still have a lot of on-premise, right? I think some of you here will still have some Visual Studio 6. That's right, Visual Basic 6, Visual Basic 6. If you don't know what is that, it's fine, right? If you know what is that, you still have a VB6 application. Or somebody heard of something called Power Builder application, right? Not Power Automate, Power Builder, which is back in 1990s, okay? Right, so how do you want to automate those things, right? You can actually do that by using a desktop flows. But desktop flow, I will demo it to you that you need to install a separate thing, right? Called the Power Automate Desktop. Okay. Now, this is how it looks like. You will launch the application. This is how it looks like. You put a flow name. Okay. Again, I will give you the live demo, so don't worry about that. Right. This is how you start the first page. Then this is how you actually creating your flow here by your own. Either there's a template. I don't think there's a template. So you need to, for this one, you need to create your own, right? Okay. 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 I will actually go down. Okay, so I will also tell you that what are those things that you will be facing, the problems that you are facing. I'll show you this as well later on. What will you be facing when you just started want to create a flow, right? I think if you are already a Power Automate developer, or you go down to intermediate level, you already frustrated, you already know how to handle this. I just want to show some guys just want to start, just start not too long, then so you will have this issue. Okay, the first one is that the item in the flow is obsolete. That's why it's obsolete, right? You look at, if you have a template like this, some of the templates, right? Have templates, some of the templates inside the flow. Unfortunately, some of the connector actually obsolete. When you run, it will give you this kind of message, right? Then you ask it, why Microsoft put it there? Don't ask me. Okay, so I will tell you that what is the correct way to do that later on. But you have to be aware, not everything inside the templates you can be used, right? Because I'm not a marketing guy, right, from Microsoft. Microsoft is going to tell you, oh, you can learn from the template very easily, right? When you go to learn from the template and click on the template, be careful, or else it will be a nightmare for you as a beginner. The thing doesn't work, it breaks, because those things obsolete. Okay, so you have to watch out that part. Okay. Another thing is that you see the flow just now I created for you, right? Copy one file to another location. A lot of people don't put here. I just say for the file selected, then I copy, right? If you don't put this one at the middle here, you put this one and this one only, I can tell you the flow will flow, and you will never get the file. Anyone want to bet with me, you can contact me, I have a bet with you. You will not see the error and you will not get the file. Right? So all these things that you need to be careful. So you always have to remember that whatever in SharePoint that you get, right, you must get the file for this. Or sometimes you need to use a variable. Okay, the variable. So that is what you need to know. There are certain times that you create a flow, then you will be very frustrated. There's no error, nothing, right? Everything runs successfully, but you don't get the result, right? So this is the thing that I will tell you first, first now, right here, that you will face those problems. Don't be surprised, okay? Right? So, okay. Another thing is that, okay, if you go to Microsoft Power Automate website, right? If you have a Windows 11, right? Windows 11, that's what you have been seeing. So just now, what you saw that, no? You saw the one that I have, right? Right. So it's actually Windows 11. The demo I was doing in Windows 11 for you, right? So if you follow this website and say Power Automated Desktop is built in, I don't know the final edition, but if you think that it's built in and you run, it's good luck for you. But I will show you how to make it run. Okay, I will show you how to make it run. It is not they have an icon there, right? When you click the icon, it will be forever no response. Okay, if you have a Windows 11 now, I mean when the final launch, I don't know. Maybe they install it for you, but now this I say good luck. Okay. Okay, let me do the demo before I wrap up. Okay, so RPA, right? Wow, big topic, RPA. So now, okay, so let's go back to here, right? Now, how do you get this thing running? I launched everything because it's a bit slow. That's why I launched it first. I created this one for you to play with. Then I will just demo this guy and this guy basically. Okay, so I'll give you a scenario. Okay, so how do you actually make this one working? The RPA, right? The Power Automate Desktop working. How do you actually make it? You come to Power Automate here. If you still remember, you go to the home, right? I guess so. Where did it? My flow? Where did it? Not here. Yes, it's here, right? You see an install button here, right? Install drop down here, right? Okay. Install the Power Automate Desktop. You click here, it will actually install it into your desktop for you, into your desktop, laptop, your computer for you, right? It's actually working in Windows 10. You don't have to worry. It doesn't have to be Windows 11. Windows 10, it will work. Right? It will work in Windows 10, right? So you don't have to worry about that. Oh, one must have a Windows. Should I have a Windows 11? No, right? So Windows 10 will work. But this is how you get it work and get this guy running. If you have a Windows 11, don't keep on clicking on the buttons like what I did previously and waited, nothing happened. Okay, so the scenario that I have is that you can see I have a website here, right? I built this one. This one is very common, right? I refresh, yeah. I see, I want you to see that it's a real thing, right? If you have a website, for example, you need the operator to come here to click this button every morning, right? So what should you do, right? Okay, let's see what is this guy doing. You see, I have an Excel file here, a report, right? I delete this report. Right, I delete this report. Okay, when I click the button in my website, right, it will say done. So the file will be generated. Yeah. Hello. See Windows 11. Okay, so you will see the file is here, right? So now I delete this file again. Okay. And I ask the robot to click for me, right? I just simply name it. I say, I know it's this guy, right? So you can this guy. How do you create this? It's just that, yeah, I go to the edit so you know how I created it, and right. Of course, you don't go and write the code because I have a code here that to do that. You don't have to do that. Any website will do it. You don't have to write your own code. I write your own code is a stack of demos for you guys, right? Right, so and then you realize that when this guy is editing, you realize that this guy is actually preview, okay, Visual Studio 2022, right? If you have one, then there's okay. Now, this is what I created. At first, I will launch the Microsoft Edge browser, right? Let me run it one more time, right? So I will go and click the button, okay? So you can see that there's no files here, eh? Okay, and I run this guy, right? I have to pray hard, plug and play, right? Pray to God first, huh? Run. Okay, so, I click run. See, you open it for me, right? You open a browser for me, right? Then he should go and click the button for me. See, he clicked the button for me. I didn't click it. Done. Okay. So you can go in here and see, look at the file here right now. Again, I have to minimize this guy. Okay, this is a bug of Windows 11. Okay? You can actually, that's why they want to launch it in November. I don't know how they can launch it. So you can see, I cannot. I have to minimize this. Oops. Oh no. Okay. Sorry to. I click the wrong button, right? So don't click the wrong button. So it's a VM. I have to go back to my VM. Okay. Hopefully, the thing is still there. No, I have to re-log in the VM. This is Windows 11 VM. Uh-oh. No. Okay. Ha. Uh-oh, it hangs. Oh, no. It came back. So my thing is still there. Become very small. Okay, right. So it's still there. Okay, so you can see that from here, right? Okay, so you can see the file created. Okay, so that's how you actually create a step, right? Let me go through it very quickly. I think I have 5 minutes left, right? So I will give you one more demo, then I'll wrap it up. Okay, so yeah, you can actually edit this guy step by step. Right? So you can actually record. This one is recorded from here, right? So actually you can see that I actually open this website and so on. How you can actually edit, but prior to that, I'm actually do the record. I use this guy to record it. Okay, so that's how I get that achieved done, right? Now, the second thing I want to show you is that how do you get a value, right? You get a value from Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word, huh? Microsoft Word is something you need. Okay, you say I have a document. I want to get a value from that document. Let me show you this guy. Then this is the guy. You want to debug, right? I want to see whether the value, right? Because when I get a value from either my Excel or my Word, right, you must be able to debug it, right? And see whether you can get the value and put in the variable. So that's what I'm doing here. I go and open the Microsoft Word document, take the content inside there, and I will actually take the value from Microsoft Word, okay? Let me run this guy for you first. Normally, you run the first round, it will actually give you some error. So, okay. So you can actually open my Microsoft Word, I believe. Uh-oh. Hello. Okay, no. So you see, open. On. Let me just. Okay. Let me close this guy. Okay. Let me just run it. Right. I think you must still have some bug in the Power Automate desktop. Not the. Okay, I run it again. See, it will open the Microsoft Word. Then you will take the value, right? 1111 is one. See, you will say value 1111. So this robot is going to go into my Word, right? And take the value and can put it into Excel later on. You can put it into Excel on cloud, Excel wherever, but not Agile SQL, unfortunately. Right? So you can, but you need to pay extra. Right. So how I did this is that there is something called UI element here, right? When you click UI element here, right, you can actually say add UI element. Okay. Then you can when you say that I want to control left mouse click, right? So I control my left mouse click. You can see, you can actually select this, right? And bear in mind that you cannot select the thing inside the cell of the table. In some of the YouTube video, and this guy is not a normal cell inside the table, right? If you want to get this value, you can never get it. I have tried it for 2 days, right? You can never get it. The only one you can get it, if you have to turn this one into a development, right? So you need to turn that element. Let me close this guy. You need to turn that element into one of these things. Where's my development? It's one of the the development is there. So this one is one of the developer field, right? Actually, it's also inside my blog how to get that. Just in case I don't have enough time, which is true. You can go to my blog. I actually have a video on this also, I believe. Okay, so now that is so for my demo, right? If you guys have any question, okay, just let me wrap up. If I can still take your question, 1 or 2 questions from you, right? So you can see that you need the Office 365 to get started, and these are the links that I can paste everything for you, right? Oops, later on I paste everything for you. So thank you for your time, and also that don't remember to scan this guy, right? To win some. Okay, the answer that I promised to give you, right? How many flow you have, right? How many flow I have demo to you, right? It's actually 5, right? And something that which is not, if you are from Sarawak, you know that something is called kolomi, is a noodle, right? That is the answer. Okay, so anyway, so any more question, right? So wow. I think it's almost time. How to create? Let me just try to answer this one. How to create an auto flow to compare the record in list SharePoint in a list. Okay. So that you need to get the and get the file item in the SharePoint. You have to store, and then you have to get another one and store it in the variable. That is where you need to use variable. Then you compare the 2 variables, right? You need to use something called variable inside your flow. Okay? In short, that's it. You cannot compare side by side using 2 items. Okay, right? Okay. Thanks. Okay, so I think my time's out. All right. So thanks to everybody here, and I will see you again, right? So next year or something like that. Okay. Bye. Right.
All right. Thank you. I just learned a lot about the Power Automate and RPA that can be created. No, I just learned a lot. Yeah. So
thank you.
yeah, I hope that it can help our day-to-day, right? And thanks for the very interesting sessions and the demo.